What if I told you that a revolution that happened thousands of miles away had profound impacts on the political ideologies of a nation like India? Intriguing, isn't it? Let's rewind to the year 1917. A momentous event was unfolding in Russia that would forever alter the course of human history: the Russian Revolution. This was a period of radical political and social revolution that swept across the vast expanses of the Russian Empire. At the heart of this revolution was a deep-seated dissatisfaction with the Tsarist autocracy. For years, the Russian people had endured harsh economic conditions, political corruption, and widespread social inequality. They yearned for change, for a system that would champion the rights of the masses rather than the privileges of the few. Enter Marxism, a doctrine developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, which provided a theoretical framework for this change. Marxism, with its focus on class struggle, proletarian revolution, and the establishment of a classless society, resonated deeply with the disenchanted Russians. It became the guiding ideology of the revolutionaries, driving them to dismantle the Tsarist autocracy and pave the way for the rise of the Soviet Union. The Russian Revolution was more than just a political upheaval, it was a seismic shift in ideologies. It was the triumph of the proletariat over the bourgeoisie, of collectivism over individualism, of socialism over capitalism. It was the dawn of a new era where the power of the masses was recognized and revered. The reverberations of this revolution were felt far and wide. Its success inspired countless other movements around the world, igniting a spark of hope among those who dreamed of a more egalitarian society. One such nation, profoundly influenced by the Russian Revolution, was India. The Russian Revolution, a testimony to the power of the masses, set the stage for a powerful ideological shift. The Russian Revolution wasn't just a political upheaval, it was a beacon of hope for oppressed masses worldwide, and India was no exception. The revolution was grounded in Marxist ideologies, which proposed a radical shift in societal structure. Instead of a society controlled by a wealthy few, Marxism envisioned a society where power and wealth were shared equally among all. It was a call to arms for the working classes, a promise of a world free from exploitation and oppression. As news of the revolution spread, these ideologies began to reach the shores of India, a nation long subjected to colonial rule. The Indian masses, many of whom were laboring under the yoke of colonial oppression, found a resonating message in these ideologies. The promise of equality, of shared power, of a society free from exploitation. It was an appealing vision. But it wasn't just the oppressed classes that were drawn to these ideologies. Intellectuals and political thinkers too were intrigued by the promise of Marxism. These ideologies offered a new perspective, a new way to analyze society and its inherent inequalities. It provided a framework to question the status quo, to challenge the existing power structures. The Indian nationalists, who were already fighting for freedom from colonial rule, found in Marxism a new weapon. It provided them with a language to articulate their struggle, to rally the masses, to demand not just political freedom, but social and economic freedom as well. However, the allure of Marxism wasn't limited to its political implications. It also offered a critique of society, of culture, of religion. It questioned established norms, challenged age-old traditions, and called for a re-evaluation of societal values. For a society steeped in tradition and hierarchy, these were radical ideas. But the appeal was undeniable. The promise of a society where everyone was equal, where everyone had a fair chance, where the fruits of labor were shared by all. It was a beacon of hope in a world of inequality and injustice. Marxist ideologies, with their promise of equality and justice, began to resonate with the Indian masses. The seeds of revolution, once sown, are hard to uproot. The ideologies that fueled the Russian Revolution found fertile ground in India. In the early 20th century, India was a nation in ferment, grappling with the yoke of British colonial rule. The winds of change were blowing, and the Russian Revolution of 1917, with its clarion call for equality and justice, found a receptive audience in India. The Marxist ideologies that underpinned the Russian Revolution resonated deeply with Indian intellectuals and revolutionaries. They saw in Marxism a promise of a new social order, a world free of exploitation and inequality. This led to the birth of socialist movements in India, inspired by the Russian Revolution. One of the earliest and most influential of these movements was the Ghadar Party, formed by Indian immigrants in the United States and Canada in 1913. The party was instrumental in spreading socialist ideas among the Indian diaspora and back home in India. In 1925, the Communist Party of India was founded, marking a significant milestone in the history of Indian socialism. The party, with its commitment to the Marxist-Leninist ideology, played a crucial role in propagating socialist ideas and challenging the status quo. The 1930s and 1940s saw the emergence of several other socialist movements, such as the Congress Socialist Party and the Forward Bloc. These movements, led by charismatic leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Subhas Chandra Bose, left an indelible mark on the Indian political landscape. These movements were not merely political organizations. They were a call to action, a call to challenge the existing order and strive for a more just society. They were the embodiment of the spirit of revolution, a spirit that had been kindled by the Russian Revolution and was now burning brightly in India. The Indian socialist movements, inspired by the Russian Revolution, began to challenge the status quo. The ripples of the Russian Revolution reached far and wide, altering the course of Indian politics forever. The Indian socialist movements, sparked by the Russian Revolution's tenets, played a pivotal role in shaping the nation's political fabric. These movements, deeply rooted in Marxist ideologies, had profound implications for India's struggle for independence. They gave rise to a new breed of leaders who championed the cause of the masses and questioned the existing socio-economic hierarchies. The socialist movement served as a catalyst, intensifying the freedom struggle and fortifying the resolve of the Indian masses. Forefronting the fight against imperialism and feudalism, the socialist movements underscored the importance of economic and social justice. They emphasized the need for a society where the fruits of labor were equitably distributed. This ethos resonated with the Indian masses, who were grappling with the stark realities of economic disparity and social injustice. The socialist movements also had a significant impact on the shaping of the Indian constitution. The constitution bears the imprint of socialist principles, with its emphasis on social, economic, and political justice. It aspires to create a society where wealth does not concentrate in the hands of a few, but is distributed to promote the common good. Moreover, the socialist movements left a lasting legacy on India's political landscape. They fostered a culture of dissent and debate, encouraging the Indian populace to question authority and demand accountability. They championed the cause of the marginalized and the underprivileged, amplifying their voices and ensuring their concerns were heard. The socialist movements also influenced subsequent political ideologies and policies. The principles of socialism continued to inform India's political discourse, shaping its approach to issues like poverty alleviation, social welfare, and economic justice. The movements have embedded a deep sense of social responsibility in the Indian political ethos. The Indian socialist movements, born out of the Russian Revolution's influence, left an indelible mark on India's political landscape. They shaped a nation's struggle for independence, influenced its constitution, and continued to inform its political discourse. They stand as a testament to the power of ideas to shape history and alter the course of nations. The Russian Revolution, a distant event in a foreign land, had far-reaching impacts on India's political ideologies. Isn't history fascinating? We've journeyed through a century, starting with the Russian Revolution of 1917, where the seeds of Marxist ideologies were sown. This revolution was far more than a mere change of power in Russia. It was a beacon of hope for the oppressed across the world, a call to arms for the working class to rise against their oppressors. It was a spark that ignited the flame of socialist movements worldwide. And India was no exception. The echoes of the Russian Revolution reached the Indian shores, inspiring the birth of socialist movements within the country. Indian leaders, influenced by the Marxist ideologies, began to envision an India where social justice and equality reigned. They sought to dismantle the age-old structures of social and economic inequality and build a society that offered equal opportunities to everyone, regardless of their caste, religion, or economic status. These movements had a profound impact on India's political landscape. They gave voice to the voiceless, empowered the marginalized, and challenged the status quo. The legacy of these movements is still evident in India's political ideologies and policies that continue to strive for social justice and equality. But let's not forget, these movements weren't without their challenges. They faced resistance from the conservative factions, struggled against the colonial rule, and grappled with the diverse socio-cultural fabric of India. Yet, they persevered, driven by their commitment to the Marxist ideologies and their vision of a just and equal society. As we wrap up our journey, let's remember that history isn't just about the past. It's about understanding how past events have shaped our present and how they continue to influence our future. The Russian Revolution and the Indian socialist movements are a testament to this interconnectedness of history. As we delve deeper into history, we realize that events from afar can shape our destiny in ways we could never have imagined. The Russian Revolution and its influence on Indian socialist movements are a testament to this.